How would you feel if you were a criminal and tried to go straight, only to be double-crossed by the crooked cops that want to steal your money? Tom Dolan is a professional bank robber, known in the media as the in-and-out bandit for his quick and efficient heists. He robbed 12 banks in 7 states, stealing more than $9 million overall. One day, Tom visited Aurora Self-Storage in Boston, intending to place his money in a storage unit. Seeing no employees, he went behind the counter to have a look. A thick psychology textbook on the table caught his eye. Curious about the drink in the mug, he picked it up and smelled it. A woman came out. She was at first annoyed by Tom's inappropriate behavior, but changed her mind about him rather quickly as they started flirting with each other and got acquainted. Her name is Annie Wilkins. She is a psychology graduate student, and this is her day job. Tom just moved into town. He requests a medium-sized storage unit, and Annie is pleased to provide him with one. 1 year later, Tom and Annie, a couple in love, check out the house that Tom intends to buy. He surprises her with the offer to move in together. She happily agrees. At this point, Annie doesn't know yet that Tom is a former criminal. Tom wants to start a new life with Annie. He feels that the only way to do it is to surrender to the government, hoping to get a shorter sentence for the cooperation. Tom calls the FBI. He identifies himself as the in-and-out bandit and says he wants to turn himself in. FBI Special Agent Sam Baker takes the call. He assumes at first that Tom is yet another lunatic who calls the FBI to confess to being the bandit only to become famous in the media and be released afterwards. Tom proposes they make a deal. He is willing to return all the money he stole and give himself up in exchange for no more than 2 years in minimal security prison in Boston area with full visitation rights. Sam is curious about his motivation for doing this. Tom reluctantly admits that he met a woman, Annie, who is now the love of his life and wants to change his life for her, no matter what it takes.
She means more to me than all the dollar bills in the world.
Sam can't promise anything, but he agrees to send someone to meet Tom in person. Sam's partner, Special Agent Sean Myers, is stuck with a dog he got from his ex-wife after the divorce and takes it everywhere he goes, to Sam's amusement. Sam assigns agents John Nivens and Ramon Hall to meet with Tom in his suite in the Charleston Hotel and verify that he is who he claims to be. John and Ramon meet with Tom and try to figure out if he really is the in-and-out bandit. They ask him to provide some details of the robberies that only he would know, something that wouldn't be in the media. He provides them with detailed explanations of how he chose the bank, how he got inside, how he drilled the vault, and what explosives he used. John and Ramon are still not convinced and need physical proof before any deal can be made. Tom gives them the key to the storage unit where his money is kept. They insist that he doesn't accompany them. John and Ramon conduct a search of the storage unit and discover millions of dollars stashed in one of the boxes. John comes up with the idea of keeping the money for themselves, since nobody believes Tom is the real robber anyway. So they will simply claim there was no money in the storage unit. Being an honest man, Ramon is hesitant. John tries to persuade him that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to never worry about money again. He reluctantly agrees. John and Ramon take the box with the money to their car. Seeing 2 suspicious-looking men on the security camera, Annie comes by and catches them in the act. They show her the key and claim to be good friends of Tom, whom he asks to help him move the stuff from his storage unit as he is moving to a new house. Having no reason to doubt their story, she leaves them be. John and Ramon hid the money in the FBI safe house. They go back to Tom. John pulls a gun on Tom and orders him to pick up a different gun so that it would look like they had to shoot him in self-defense. Expecting something like this, Tom reveals that there were only $3 million in the box, not 9. Sam Baker unexpectedly knocks on the door. Ramon lets him inside. He gets suspicious about the guns and the unusual situation, so John shoots him without provocation. Using the distraction, Tom overpowers Ramon and takes his gun. He pushes John out of the window, falling down along with him. Annie, who is just outside the hotel, is shocked to witness the fight. Tom grabs her and they leave in a hurry as John and Ramon open fire at their car and then chase them. John intends to falsify the evidence to make it look like it was Tom who shot Baker. John and Ramon catch up to Tom's Jeep, but he and Annie left on foot and hid in a car in the parking lot. John and Ramon search the parking lot, but fortunately they don't find Tom and Annie. Tom hotwires the car and they leave. Seeing no alternative, Tom confesses to Annie that he is the in-and-out bandit, but he left that life a year ago and wanted to end it properly by surrendering to the government. But 2 crooked FBI agents double-crossed him, so now he and Annie are both targets as they know what really happened. Tom tries to reason with Annie, trying to explain to her that he is not the monster she thinks he is. When he was young, his father was robbed of his pension funds by the ruthless CEO that fired him from his job earlier. His father passed away shortly afterwards. Feeling a desire for revenge, Tom robbed a bank where the CEO kept his money. Inspired by his initial success, he kept robbing banks just for the sheer thrill of it, not for the money. It made him feel alive. Then he fell in love with Annie, and he felt the same thrill just by being in love with her, so he stopped robbing banks for her. Following the demise of Sam Baker, his partner, Sean Myers, arrived at the Charleston Hotel to investigate what happened that night. He promises that he will find whoever is responsible. Annie tells Tom about her earlier experience with John and Ramon. He admits that he thought that they were honest FBI agents that would arrest him, so he gave them the key. Tom knows that Annie can't be with him any longer, otherwise she is an accessory to his crimes. He drives her to a bus station to put her on a bus out of town. Meanwhile, John and Ramon tell Myers their version of what happened. Tom shot Baker, overpowered John and Ramon, and managed to escape in the Jeep with a woman. They of course claim that there was no money in the storage unit, and they didn't see the woman's face. Tom advises Annie to stay in a motel or a hotel out of sight, and not give anyone her real name, as John and Ramon might be on to her as well. Meanwhile, he will do whatever it takes to bring down the corrupted FBI agents. They say goodbye, and Annie gets on the bus. Tom uses the internet to get information about John Nivens. The FBI got Tom's fingerprints from the Jeep he left earlier. They know his name, and they know about his service in the Marines, where he got his expertise in demolition that he later used to rob banks. John and Ramon maintain their story, claiming Tom seemed crazy to them, and that he definitely isn't the in-and-out bandit. Intending to help Tom clear his name, Annie got off the bus and headed straight to her workplace to retrieve the security camera footage of John and Ramon carrying the box out of Tom's storage unit. This footage would undoubtedly prove that John and Ramon are lying. Tom warns her to leave immediately as they might be going there too. He steals a van and drives to help her. But it's too late. John comes in and starts threatening her. He wants to know where the rest of the money is, as she denies having any knowledge of Tom's money. John starts beating her, trying to make her give him the card with the security camera footage. She manages to injure him and tries to flee, but fails. John knocks her unconscious. Ramon retrieves the card and they leave in a hurry as Tom approaches the place. Tom finds unconscious Annie and rushes to get her to the hospital. He calls for help and puts her on the gurney. The nurse asks him questions about Annie. He spots 2 policemen in the hallway and leaves immediately. Tom calls the FBI and demands to speak to John Nivens. Sean Myers puts him on the line. Tom accuses John and Ramon of stealing the money from his storage unit. John, of course, denies the accusations. Tom threatens to make them pay for beating his girlfriend.
I'm coming for you.
He throws away the phone to avoid being traced. Ramon gets increasingly dissatisfied with his partner's erratic behavior that led him to the point of no return. A police cruiser spots Tom's van. The police officer reports his location to headquarters and initiates pursuit. John and Ramon drive there fast to intercept Tom before anyone else can arrest him. In the dense traffic, the policeman crashes his car and radios for help. Myers joins the pursuit as well. Tom stops the van near a house in the suburbs. He spots John's car behind him and manages to crash into them hard. Tom tries to drive away, but the cars are stuck together. A fierce firefight ensues as Tom pushes the engine to the limit. He finally breaks away from their car as John desperately tries to gun him down as he leaves. Sometime later, Myers found the parked van. He looks around and spots Tom walking down the street. Tom spots him too and runs away as Myers pursues him in the car. Tom climbs over the fence, so Myers gets out and continues on foot. He catches up with Tom, and they start fighting. Tom manages to overpower Myers and pulls a gun on him. He explains to Myers that it was John Nivens who shot Baker, not him. And it was John and Ramon who beat up his girlfriend. All because they're trying to cover up that they stole the money from Tom's storage unit. Myers tries to convince him to surrender, but Tom isn't quite sure that Myers isn't involved in the conspiracy with John and Ramon, so he leaves. Tom calls the hospital and verifies that Annie is alive and recovering from her injuries. John and Ramon drive to the hospital, intending to make sure that Annie doesn't make it out alive. Ramon refuses to do it, so John goes in. Fortunately for Annie, Sean Myers was near her at the moment, so John left. Tom got some new clothes and a pickup truck. The recent conversation with Tom made Myers realize that there may be some truth to what he is saying after all. Trying to get to the bottom of this, he calls John into his office and starts asking him uncomfortable questions. John still claims that Tom is a crazy lunatic who made up a whole story. Finishing his work in the office, Ramon gets in a car and goes home. Tom follows him to his house. Ramon can't sleep, bothered by the overwhelming feeling of guilt. His wife senses that he's troubled and tries to talk about it. Suddenly, they heard a noise, a garage door moving. Ramon takes a gun and goes to check it out. Tom attacks him with a bat and takes his gun away. Sensing that Ramon is an honorable man, Tom figures out that he just went along with Nivens' crazy idea to steal the money. Tom appeals to Ramon's conscience to help him prove his innocence. Ramon agrees to give him the security footage and the location of the safe house where the money is held. He also warns Tom to save Annie in the hospital because John will undoubtedly try to get to her again. Tom rushes to the hospital and takes Annie out to a different location. He buys the ingredients to manufacture explosives and starts the work as Annie watches him. She refuses to sit back and do nothing, so she goes with him to John Nivens' house. Tom calls John and demands a full confession from him. He, of course, refuses, so Tom informs him that he planted a bomb in his house. Tom starts counting. John rushes out of the house as the bomb explodes right behind his back. John gets in his car and hastily drives to retrieve the money. Meanwhile, Tom asks Annie to get the security footage to Myers. John makes it to the safe house and calls Ramon to get there too. Meanwhile, Annie meets with Myers and gives him the security footage proving that there was a box with the money stolen by John and Ramon. To prove his good faith, Tom left Myers the rest of the money, $6 million stored in boxes in the storage unit. At the safe house, Ramon comes in and Tom is right behind him, aiming the gun at John. Ordered by Tom, John throws away his gun. Tom informs him that Ramon gave him the security footage, and he gave it to Myers, so there is no point in denying anything anymore. John and Ramon argue and start fighting. John pulls out another gun and shoots Ramon from behind multiple times, injuring Tom as well. They frantically shoot at each other, changing magazines when they're out of bullets. John grabs the bag with the money and leaves in his car. But before he can get away, Tom calls him and informs him there is another bomb under his seat. The bomb is pressure sensitive, so if John tries to leave the car seat, the bomb will explode. So he is left with no choice but to wait for the bomb squad to defuse the bomb and get arrested afterwards. Ironically, the second bomb was a bluff. Tom knew that John wouldn't take a chance after the explosion in his house. John is arrested and the bag with $3 million is recovered by the FBI. Myers later receives the audio recording Tom made during their conversation in the safe house. This audio clearly proves that it was John who took the lives of Baker and Ramon, not Tom. Myers promises Annie to do what he can in terms of Tom's punishment. Tom comes out of his truck and turns himself in. Myers admires his desire to break from his criminal past. He compliments Tom on bringing down John Nivens. Under different circumstances, he would be giving Tom a job. Tom and Annie hug and say goodbye as Tom and Myers go inside the FBI building. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more.